right. Live from the L. Smith Brewery in sunny San Diego, California. Biz Brew's on the air. Great time. Thanks again to bartender Nick for taking care of us today. He's going to come back a little bit later.
I turned mine into a mini.
Giant beer of yours?
It was magic. It turned into a mini.
No, she finished it. And all that's left was that. Good to have you along today. The whole team's here. Chris Janicus, our director. Murphy, our assistant director.
Who has the rest of my beer?
Curtis Matovich, our floor director, as well as Molly the Tamale, who's in charge of everything. I'm ticked off at your mom. I know. What the heck?
What'd she do?
Her mom's a great business person. I'll tell you
Did she
later.
negotiate something really, really good?
Yes, she's a good negotiator.
Oh, I
too.
like this. We should have her on.
Slaps me around. Nice lady. Very nice lady. In fact, that's how we met Molly. So anyway, so good to have you along. Look who's here, Chase Wilsey from Wilsey Asset Management. How are you, buddy?
Good to be here.
Are you getting pelted by all your friends after this? Because I know you didn't say who you were voting for, but I think we all know who you voted for. And I know that you have to be careful because your clientele.
Yeah.
But you are a business person.
Exactly.
And I believe that I believe that you voted for the business. The pro-business candidate. You don't have to admit one way or the other, but I'm assuming that some of your millennial friends are not as pro-business as you are.
Is that right?
Would that be a safe way to put it, Brent? Is that right?
Yeah. I mean, we've seen the protests. We've seen all over Facebook. My millennials saying California succeed from the United States. And it's like, guys, we're gonna be okay. It's not that bad. But I mean, I'm excited. There's a lot that I'm looking forward to in respect to the companies, stocks that we like to own. There's so much we're excited about owning those small pieces of large companies and looking where they're going to be, 2, 3, 4 years down the road.
Right. What's interesting is this rally that we have seen. So Murphy, do me a favor, pull up a chart of the Dow. So we saw a couple of Mondays ago, if you'll recall, we saw that a jump in the market. Mm-hmm. The market thinking that Hillary Clinton was going to win. Mm-hmm. Now, historically speaking, under a Democratic president, the market does better. The stock market does better. The economy does worse. And this is a good opportunity to talk about why these are two separate things. They're not the same thing. And in anticipation of a Hillary Clinton win, we saw the market rally. Then, of course, on election night, we had futures at 5%, 8% lower. Since then, we've seen a legitimate Trump rally. Look at the Dow Jones. Now, what's interesting here is we are completely oversold here, or overbought here. We're going to have to come even out. But what's interesting here is if you really take a look at the trending lines, and the red line there is a 50-day moving average, and the blue line is a 10-day moving average. It's essentially, other than the last few trading days where we just had a huge gap up, it's basically flat. Mm-hmm. So what do you make of this? Are we as high as we're going to go? Do you think there's going to be a bit of a correction, a pullback? What do you think?
I think there's always room for growth, of course, especially going forward. In the short term, yes, there might be a small correction. I don't think we're going to have a bear market or anything crazy like that. But one thing we like to look at is we don't buy the market. We buy small pieces of large companies. And there's a lot of stocks out there that did not get what I heard from one analyst called it the Trump bump.
The Trump bump.
The Trump bump.
He got that from right here there, mister. Yeah. Don't say he got that from an analyst.
Yeah, a lot of companies did not get that Trump bump. And those are still those good quality companies that are still trading at great valuations. Mm-hmm. And those should be the ones you're looking at adding to the portfolio right now. And bank stocks are another group of companies that we think could do tremendously well over the next few years, but they've gone up very, very rapidly after we saw Trump elected. So I wouldn't jump into them right away, essentially.
So I said this. See if you agree with me, because I'm not a money manager. Mm-hmm. In fact, I'm quite the opposite. When I was investing in banking, I represent the company sides. The people that are trying to get you to buy the stock, and you're representing the people that are buying the stock. I said, just sit there. You always hear the adage, don't just sit there, do something. I said, just sit there, don't do something. Mm-hmm. When does that change? When does the dust settle in your mind? Because let's face it, the dust is still kind of out there, although the protests / temper tantrums are still going on. I think we're going to see something pull back a little bit here.
Yeah, and we always tell people don't go 100% in one way or the other. So it's kind of funny now we're getting potential clients call saying, oh, well, now the election's over, I'm ready to go. And it's like, well, you kind of missed a good run up in the market over the last few days, few weeks here. Yeah, right. And what we did was, again, we bought some good quality companies and they did tremendously well for us after Trump was elected.
Yeah.
And then some companies, again, didn't go up. Well, those are the ones we've been adding to over the last couple of days. And we have our eyes on a couple other companies we're looking at adding over the next few days, few weeks, few months.
Some people are afraid of the market. Some people are afraid because it's too high. I mean, right? I mean, trees don't grow to the sky.
Oh, absolutely.
Everything's got to fall at some point. Are you saying not to be scared right now? Are you saying to be measured?
Yeah, I'm saying not to be scared again because the market has to set all-time new highs all the time for it to keep going up. And we see Trump as being very pro-growth, so we see a lot of companies doing very well. Okay. And I'll circle back around to we don't buy the market, we buy these small pieces of large companies, because just because the market goes up or down doesn't mean one of your companies can't go up or down based on the fundamentals.
We no longer take telephone calls on either my radio program nor my television programs because it turns into buy, sell, or hold. Why don't I do it to you this time? What do you think about COF? COF, of course, is Capital One Finance, and Capital One Finance is on a tear right now.
Oh, absolutely.
So I mean, if you are a stock picker or just a stock watcher, it is tough right now not to pay attention to Capital One Finance. So Capital One Finance, by the way, trading up another percentage point even today. Closing at $80 a share. This stock was trading at $73 a share about a week ago. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, and it is one of those companies that was greatly benefited by the Trump presidency because of the fears of the regulations that were going to be placed on by the Democratic nominee.
And potential infrastructure play here. Let's face it. If he's going to put money in infrastructure, that's going to help bank stocks.
Yeah, and it's had a great run up, as you said, but I wouldn't fear it and say, oh my gosh, it's at an all-time high or near an all-time high. I would keep an eye on this company because it still trades at a very good valuation. Looking at the PE ratio right now, 11.3 times earnings.
Okay, explain to Deb what a PE ratio is.
So PE is price divided by earnings. So how much are you paying for the earnings of a business? You always want to understand that because going back to the early 1800s, Robert Shiller has a great study saying, quite simply, you don't overpay for a company, otherwise you don't do very well.
So what should a PE ratio be in your mind?
The historical average is about 16.5, so that is what we look at as being
so if you had a PE ratio like in the dot-com era, remember Brent dot-com era, we were like at 70% PE ratio. What? So you like to be below 10, I'm assuming?
We say we like to buy around 10 to 12 times forward earnings is what we're looking at buying a company at. And again, kind of looking at those forward earnings for Capital One Financial, it's estimated that they'll make $7.93 in fiscal 2017. Using 16.5 as a forward earning multiple, we get a target sell price of $130.85. So that's well above that current price. Plus you get a 2% dividend.
Somebody's been reading
on
the
top
financials.
Of that. Oh, I always read the financials. You know.
Any
that.
other bank stocks you like? You like BAC? You like Bank of America at all, or are we liking Wells Fargo? What do you like? I mean, I can't ask you what you like as far as what a recommendation is, but do you like the banking sector right now?
I like the banking sector a lot. Again, I would be very patient with it because it has gone up a lot. Pick some good quality bank stocks to keep your eye on in case there is a pullback. I don't think they're going to be on a tear, go up 20% the next couple of days. Okay. So again, be patient. Don't just jump into it because the market has appreciated so quickly.
All right, very good. In fact, when you come back to me, I will give you a buy, sell, or hold on BAC, not necessarily what they would say. Chase, thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Brent Wilsey will be coming up with us in just a few minutes here. Wilsey Asset Management. Those guys are the smartest guys in the room when it comes to investing. Coach Deb and I, when we come back, of course, you'll notice liquid levels.
I shared with the crew.
You did not share anything.
But as long as they're switching is good. I think I just drank the whole thing.
You to America. See you in a bit. So he is. So basically, he's taking advantage of the tax code. So let's just make that clear.
Oh.
Is that way on the air?
I think we're on the air. Sorry. Talking about Lambos and financial planning and what you
why
get
not
when
take
you
advantage of the tax code?
Invest right.
I had somebody ask me today. I had a pastor ask me about a tax question. I said, I'm not sure I want to give you advice about this because I could have lightning come out and kill me.
If it's bad advice, it doesn't go
Biz Brew,
well.
great to have you along. Who do we have for last call today, Chris?
Kicking in.
The cook?
Leguzamo.
A cook?
The chef?
A tour guide. Oh, I thought he was a chef.
So not the guy that
the
has
chefs
in
here
the movie
the
chef?
chefs here at Elspeth all drive food trucks. No, this is can I tell you this is the latest thing in San Diego? If you own a brewery, so we are near MCAS Miramar, which used to be called the Miramar Naval Air Station. Now it's called the Marine Corps Air Station Miramar. We're literally, what are we, a mile away from it? Less than that. We're across the street. Yeah. And so this is called Miramar. Okay. Well, did you know that they've changed the name of Miramar to Biramar?
Oh, didn't know.
Yes, because of all the breweries here. Everything from Green Flat, Chase
knows them all.
He pit stops them all.
What do you got? Green Flash, you got Ale, of course Murphy knows. Ballast Point, look at Murphy.
Point.
Yeah,
He's like,
that's Murphy. Yeah.
In order, I think, along the street. He
Murphy's
literally
not only allowed
named them
to
in
drink
order.
on the show, he's encouraged.
Encouraged to drink.
To drink.
He's a better switcher in audio tech.
Best job you ever had, man. Don't you forget it. Brent Wilsey's here, Wilsey Asset Management, of course. I tried to trap your son into giving me a buy-seller hold, and he wouldn't do it.
He's smart.
He held
He's
strong.
smart.
He held strong. Trained
I will
well
say this,
by
though.
Pops.
He and I were talking about Best Buy a while back, and boy, Best Buy was stuck at $38 a share. It was stuck. First of all, it was stuck at $29 a share since you and I were in high school.
Right.
And then, it was stuck at $38 a share
and I gotta say,
for most of his high school years.
2 years ago.
I say, look at the stock for like 10 years. I think I'd say it goes to 20 to 40 to 20 on a range.
It's range bound. What's interesting is if you see a stock do this, it goes up, and it goes up. Now, you see that happen during the day, but you rarely see it happen for months at a time.
Yeah.
This stock trades that way.
Yes.
So suddenly Best Buy goes, and I realize I'm talking about, individual stock prices here, but Best Buy was at $38 a share forever. Now it's at 46. Who knows if it's going to stay there like that? But it wouldn't surprise me if it goes up there and finds itself another support point. What's going on with this?
And I don't know the earnings on it. That's what I'd be checking. And Chase.
You know what the earnings are? Good earnings. See,
I know, but
what? Just give it a thumbs up.
Sports page.
The financial.
It says they're good, but what is the multiple for the forward PE? Do you know that?
12.5 multiple. So explain to Deb what a multiple is.
Okay, so a multiple is, and again, it's like the PE ratio, the price earnings, how many times you're paying for the earnings that equals the stock price.
Right.
So at 12.5 on the forward basis, that says it's not a sell because it's still not very expensive for the earnings going forward. Now, one thing I will say.
Now, if it was a 20.
Oh, 16 and a half, 18, we'd be out.
Yeah. You like 10 to 12.
Well, 10 to 12 to buy, 16 and a half to sell. That's kind of like a rule.
For PE and for?
Well, that is a forward PE all the time. We're always looking at the future value of a company we're actually looking at. So, but what's important is that with Best Buy, they seem to have a way, and there's other companies like this as well, they do well, then they trip themselves up and the stock falls. So that's why for some companies, you got to understand the business. But I don't know if you can pull up a chart or not, but I swear for the last 5 years, I think it's been up and down between 20 and 40, at least 4, if not 5
So
times.
if you see something like that on the chart, is that indicative where you would just buy, sell? Like every time it goes to 40, you sell, and then every time it goes back to 20, you buy? Like if that consistently happens?
Probably not, because we have to back it up by the
So you'd hold?
we would
keep
hold it, or we would say, and it's a tough one, because again, see, Sully's not paying attention to me. He hasn't looked at the chart yet.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what I'm doing, because I am
He's doing his own
texting my
research.
stockbroker to find out exactly when he got out for me on
Wait,
Best Buy.
you're what are Chase and I supposed to do?
Well, you guys wouldn't day trade. You guys wouldn't day trade for me if I asked
Would you day trade?
No.
No, that was very.
No, we like
very
Sully.
clear.
We
Can I
wanna
tell you?
lose the
Can I
money.
tell you how
That's
much
why you
money?
won't do the
Can I tell you how much
40
money I
and
have day
5.
trading?
How much?
$5,000. That's it.
You don't
So
meet our
play
account
money.
minimum.
So that's your play money.
No, what I'm saying though is that people think that I day trade these big. I don't day trade my portfolio. Is what I'm saying.
It's so funny.
I day trade so I can talk about the stocks on the air.
So funny. We've had people
It used
as
to be
clients.
$1,000, but the market's gone up.
Yeah, we had people as clients saying, "Oh, I'm going to do some day trading." Okay, take out 5,000. They're back 2 years later. Can I have another 5,000? I lost that 5,000.
Well, if I take out
They're
5,000, I'll
playing
give you back your 5,000. I'll play at the house's money for a while.
Oh.
That's how you do it,
Okay.
right? And that's why I think Brent and I have two philosophies though. One philosophy is technical analysis. The other philosophy is fundamentals. See, that's why we're on the air together.
Yeah.
Because I
Balance each
am
other
the
out.
fear and greed guy. He's the brains in the room. So what do we? You just heard your son talk about what's going on with the market post-election. Are you surprised? At this Trump bump?
I am surprised because it was, Trump is going to be terrible and so forth, and I'm saying, no, he's great for business and so forth.
Yeah.
I'm surprised the market moved this quickly based on him understanding, like, wow, this can be good for the economy.
Right.
I thought it was funny today because Janet Yellen had her speech this morning. She has changed gears because Trump was saying before elected, we need to raise interest rates. Now she came on today saying, well, yes, we're now going to start raising interest rates. I think she's worried about her job. I think her job comes up, I think, February 2018.
Yeah, sure does.
Interesting. So
Yes, so maybe
well,
change
she's
her tune a little
saying,
bit.
listen,
the boss.
Yes.
data points to a stronger economy. So we're going to raise interest rates. What's interesting, and I've said this a number of times, is that Alan Greenspan, who was our Fed chair under Ronald Reagan, actually, raised interest rates and lowered interest rates. You saw a corresponding stock market with that. And then Ben Bernanke, who was an academic, ran out of room. There was no more, couldn't dial it down anymore, so he started printing money. And now Janet Yellen uses the threat of an interest rate hike to move the markets. But what's interesting today is, as we're seeing the Dow Jones, the NASDAQ, and the S&P all in positive territory, not by a lot, on the day that she says she's going to raise rates. Isn't that interesting?
And we have to understand that, because the reason why that's happening is because the economy is going to do well. And the stock market has been proven that businesses can do well until interest rates get about 6% or so. Right now, the 10-year Treasury, again, another thing to talk about, 10-year Treasury, I think had a low of 150. Now I think it's above 2, so that's moving up quite a bit. But again, businesses can still do well until rates get around 5 or 6%. Then it's like, okay, maybe we start switching now. And I don't think that's going to happen next year, perhaps by the end of Trump's first term. Not to suggest there's going to be a second term, but by the end of her first term, it could be 5 or 6% on the 10-year Treasury.
Brent Wilsey's with us. He's going to stay with us. We're going to talk some more to him. I also want to talk about if there's an asset allocation shift on the way based upon this president. It's Biz Brew. We're broadcast on YouTube America. Don't forget the YTA Club, where you can watch all of our programming as well as every other show on YouTube America, including Dr. Gina's show and all the other fun stuff on your mobile device just by going to ytaclub.com. Plugging in the promo code Sully or Coach Deb, and you can do that. It is Biz Brew live from AleSmith right here in sunny San Diego, California. We're back in just 1 second. Are you considering buying a house, Deb? Is that what you're talking about?
Thinking about it.
Are you really?
But now mortgage rates.
I'm considering never buying a house again.
I guess I can't say spike, but
I'm considering selling.
I just want something, a little house by the beach, a little cottage,
Look at
nothing
that.
big, just something small.
Hey, look, our bartender's here.
Customer
I'm back.
relations.
Yes, you haven't got rid of me yet.
Our customer relations manager's here.
Are you relating with us now?
Yeah, I'm relating,
You're
exactly.
relating.
We should call the AleSmith the office then. Where are you at, honey? I'm at the office.
At the
Gotta have
office
codenames
with
for
the
everything.
CRM.
Yeah.
Who's that behind you? That's the customer service.
So this is theirs.
manager.
Relations manager.
Relations manager.
So I have a complaint. Would you be
no.
the person?
Her
Yeah.
beer's empty.
Mine went to a mini. It shrunk.
I can fix that for you.
It was like magic.
Yeah.
It went from there to here, and it was like
Well, that's a
mini.
good thing. That's what we like to see.
Oh.
So what did you guys think of Annette Brown?
It was
really good.
fantastic.
Yeah?
It was
Nice,
really good.
right?
What is your favorite beer here, by the way?
Well, this is one of my favorites. 394 is also really good. That's the
394 is
Tony
the Tony
Gwynn.
Gwynn.
Yeah, it's hard to go wrong there. And Old Numbskull, our American barley wine.
Old Numbskull.
Old Numbskull.
Yeah.
Brent and I haven't called that.
Is that the one you want?
Yeah, the old Numbskull, yeah.
I think the finance guy wants the old
water
Numbskull.
today?
Yeah.
Not that you ever
no.
drink
He's feeling
out of here.
neglected.
have that.
He's feeling neglected. He's like, "Where's my beer?"
You guys give me water and the
It was clear beer. Is this clear beer
What is your- what
for
did you say
finance
your favorite was
managers?
again?
My favorite?
What's your favorite?
Well, Nut Brown's really Old Numbskull.
Old
Yeah,
Numbskull.
barley wine. Yeah.
What do you pair
Chase
that
like
with?
that one.
A good fish.
Drunken idiot friend from college?
Also a drunken idiot friend, yeah, exactly. Well, guys, I'll let you get back
Thanks,
to
Nick.
it.
Appreciate
Enjoy
it.
the
Nick,
beer.
our
Thanks for
bartender.
relating.
I beg your pardon. Customer relations manager.
Yeah, I like that.
That
CRM.
was brilliant.
It really
He's the
is.
smartest guy in the room.
Yeah.
Hey, I thought I was the smartest
No,
guy.
not anymore.
Not anymore,
When you
apparently.
when you are
CRM guy.
legitimately a bartender and you call yourself a customer
You didn't give
relations
him a beer.
manager.
That's right.
Annette Brown.
Did you hear that Donald Trump, his pledge is to renegotiate these trade deals?
Yes.
I want to ask you suddenly. Now, do you have Nike in your portfolio?
We do not, too expensive.
You know, it's too expensive.
Too
for you.
expensive.
So what's interesting is that these trade, I guess, renegotiated metrics are going to have a big impact on sneaker companies.
On what money?
Sneaker companies.
Oh, sneaker company.
Because let's face it, if you have tougher restrictions on China, that accounts for 66% of U.S. footwear. Okay. And on Vietnam, another
Right.
big trade market. What that's going to come down to, it's bad news for companies like Nike and Under Armour. Okay, but Nike expensive. I don't know. I haven't looked at Under Armour forever.
And I got to say that I don't think it's going to be that bad because all Trump is saying, hey, let's make these deals fair. We're not going to stop buying from you guys, but you know what? If we're going to buy from you,
you got to do something to help us out. It's not going to be a one-way deal anymore.
Right.
And there's plenty that they can do to kind of make a good deal. And that's all he's saying. It's like, let's make a good deal. It's fair on both sides.
Well, GOP has been a party to support free trade international trade deals a long time. But you're right. We have a horrible deal right now. It's a one-way deal. I mean, it's not a two-way street like it should be. And that's been the problem.
And I'm not sure of this, but I think a lot of products we have, those countries put tariffs on our products. And we say, well, we won't do that. Well, no, if you're going to do it on our products, then we're going to do it on your products. We've got to have things fair. Open your markets for us like we're open for you.
What do you say to the Warren Buffett model of investing many years ago was invest in what you use, and it's like, in other words, if you're a construction guy and you look at the open air indicators and like Lowe's Hardware or Home Depot or whatever, I could never make an argument for that. But you must get phone calls about that all the time. So you know what, I'm seeing stuff on TV. I'm seeing stuff. Should I buy? I mean, do you ever consider new investment ideas as a result of what the open air indicators are? In other words, something like, for example, craft beer, for example. Constellation Brands picks up Ballast Point for $1 billion.
I mean, all the time. And I tell people that's a great place to start, buy what you know. But make sure you're not overpaying for something. Because again, it might be a great investment, but if it's too expensive, don't buy it. Wait till it comes down. And that could be 2, 3, 4 years. And that's a big problem investing. People are not patient. They want to buy it now and make a big profit next week. And investing is, and Warren Buffett's the first one to tell you, 5, 7 year holding period. Don't worry about it. And that's one thing I want to say about the market is I think you're going to see some big changes in the market in the next 4 years. What's going to really happen is I think you're going to see a change from a lot of these high flyers that are expensive to good quality companies that have good quality earnings that are not overpriced.
All right, very good. What else are you looking at today?
Well, we've got, we've got all kinds of things. Well, one thing I did see that was kind of funny, I mean, things must be kind of tough on the employment side because there's a senator from Nebraska who's an Uber driver.
An Uber driver?
An Uber driver, yes.
He's driving Uber because he needs the money?
Now.
Because he needs the money or he wants to meet his people?
They're advertising now on radio where they're saying, if you want to make some extra money.
I think you and I should do it.
They're not paying them well? So you have a Lambo? That would be an awesome. You'd be Uber X or Uber Black.
Can you request your a specific Uber driver when you call them, or you just get what you get?
No, I wish you could. Like, I want my own Uber driver. Like,
could you imagine if Deb were the Uber driver? You would be in demand.
In my little one, two-seater.
I was thinking what I was going to do was open up an Uber branch and have all attractive women because I thought that'd be in high demand.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah. I mean, because I think it'd be in high demand, but
they would call you a pimp at that point.
I think it's a different term.
Just to track the cars.
They already have that business.
It's not a new model. It's a good idea.
You think Uber's? Let me add. This is something I have to ask you. So Uber has a valuation, this crazy $6 billion or something like that. Uber's not publicly traded, by the way.
No.
So their valuation is, by the way, not even based upon anything. Typically, if you're going to put a valuation on a privately held company, you could go, 1 times top line revenue, or maybe 3 times EBITDA. At the bottom. Now, look at the craft beer industry right now is going 15 times EBITDA
What's EBITDA?
Earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization.
Sounds like an Italian word.
EBITDA.
Like, is that the beer, or is that a real technical word?
Yeah, I was waiting to see if you got the whole thing.
I got the whole thing. But basically, it is the bottom line.
No, it's not the bottom line.
It's the top of the bottom line.
It's the top of the bottom line. Right, yeah. We like to look at net profit margin.
It's the top of the bottom line.
Top of the bottom.
Right.
I say the bottom line because the big argument with everyone is valuation.
Yeah.
Now, in the stock market, valuation is what's called market cap. It's the amount of outstanding shares on the share price. That's your valuation, regardless. Well, some people would argue that your valuation doesn't equal your market cap. So, and every CEO would also argue that. You look at Uber, though. I mean, if Uber goes public, there's no way Uber could price out
in a lot of
what
companies,
they think their valuation is.
And a lot of companies, what they'll do is they'll do a tracking stock where they'll say, we're going to put out like 10 or 15% to see what it goes for. Uber won't do that because it'd be like, oh, we're not even worth close to what we thought we were.
We're worth $1 billion.
It's like the guy that has that piece of property says, oh, my house is worth like $1 million. And he tries to sell it. What? It's only $750? You can say anything you want to, but you don't know the true price until it hits the market, and that's the true price. Right.
The thing about Uber and Airbnb. I mean, it's a natural. I mean, if you think about Snapchat the other day, Snapchat filing for IPO. They turned down Facebook or Google for
$3
billion?
Right. Yeah.
Which we thought, you idiots.
Yeah, because they copied everything.
They're going to do an IPO for $25 billion. But then again, they waited, and they've got a good user base like that.
Right.
The problem with is that no one has come after Uber yet. I don't know if there's been one acquisition play towards Uber. I can't remember.
I don't believe there is, but I mean,
and if you think about that, though,
but competition, they have competition too. Now they got Lyft.
I was going to say, what about Lyft? Are they a publicly traded company or no?
They are not.
No.
They're not. Yeah, but it's just another competition for them. And again, there's one thing Warren Buffett likes too is barriers to entry. Who can enter this business? Well, what does it take to set up a ride-sharing service? It doesn't take much at all.
Well, think about this. Uber is the biggest cab company in the world. Doesn't own a single car.
Yeah.
So there's the barrier to entry is almost nothing.
Nothing.
There really isn't any proprietary advantage because if you go to your local cab company, okay, you can usually download an app that the local cab companies have here that looks a lot like Uber.
Yep.
Okay.
They're also offering to pay people's car payment. So going to get a car and Uber will, that's one of the things that,
But again, it probably has to be a certain amount that they'll do to do
absolutely.
that.
Like they would almost be working for them. And those are the people that are getting retirement funds as well.
Do you think they'll make the payment on my Lambo?
Might.
Is that something on the Murphy? Is that something on the top of the car?
Oh, what is it on the top of the car?
Oh, it's a self-driving Uber.
And that looks like a Ford. I didn't know Ford had a self-driving.
Would you get in a self-driving Uber?
No, heck
Do you sit
no.
in the back or do you sit in the front?
Whatever you want.
I'd want to sit in the driver's seat and see where the brake is.
I think that when self-driving cars hit, I think real estate values further away, like in depressed real estate markets, which are basically further away from the beach, basically, I think they rise like crazy.
Why?
Because you don't need to live near the beach anymore.
Oh, because you just hop in a car and
you work
get driven there?
Commuting is nothing anymore because you're working the entire time, right? Well, that's really what it comes down to.
I'd still want to hear the ocean. I'd want to walk out.
I'm just saying those areas that
would change,
it would change a lot of things. So
no,
I'm not saying it would increase the values. I'm saying, it doesn't matter if suddenly you were able to get anywhere and you don't have to drive and you can make. This is why people take trains,
right?
So you can work inside. What would you do if you had a self-driving? Once you got used to the fact that you weren't going to die every time you got in it.
Now I don't know how many reviewers like me, but I get car sick very easily. I don't know how many people get car sick.
So
and there's people, and people there's different degrees. I get car sick just in the passenger seat, just driving there.
But not when you're in the driver's
son's
seat, right?
driving.
If I'm driving, okay, unless I go real fast.
That's me.
But then that's one level. But then there's people too that they can't read in the car. So that whole thing of working the car, I would love to do that. It'd be so
It's hard for me to drive and read at the same time.
Yeah.
It's been a challenge.
Most people have that issue.
But when you're taking an Uber, are you usually on the phone?
Texting probably,
See?
Unless they want to interact with you and then you have to chat with them because you don't want to get rated badly.
If you were in an Uber that drove itself,
right, you could get work done.
What would you do?
You get work done.
Get work done.
Oh, right. No, I'd probably be more paranoid and be like, watch the road. Oh, well, I'm not talking to anyone. I'd be that backseat driver, literally. Except I'd be in the front, in the driver's seat.
Before we let you out of here today, what's the rest of the year look like for us? Are we going to, we've got 60 days left of this presidency. We've got, we're going to go into sort of a lame duck part of the year where people are going to start doing tax loss selling in about 4 weeks from now. What do you tell the average investor right now?
You got to look at, I think,
other than
retail and so forth, because I think we're going to have a great Christmas. I think we're going to surpass $1 trillion in sales for Christmas. I think people feel very good. We see confidence up and so forth. I think it's going to parlay right into the investment for the stock market. I think the stock market on the Dow, not very far away, but I think could be over 19,000 quite easily. And value companies, I think, are going to do very, very well.
Next time we're with you, I want to talk about, we never talk about gold. You got to talk about gold.
We're going to talk about gold.
I want to talk about gold next time you're with us. Maybe next week.
Sure.
Because the reason is because people love this, say that gold's a great hedge against inflation. I'm not a big believer in that.
We agree on that.
We agree on a lot of
you
stuff.
both agree.
Yeah.
Can I take the contrary position?
You can take the gold.
Okay. Oh, I love that. That's going to be a good show.
Thank you, Brent Wilsey, Wilsey Asset Management. Coming up, we're going to talk to the folks right here from AleSmith. Talk to our tour director and kind of take them a whole feel of this because the Tony Gwynn Museum is here. We need to spend some time over there. It's Biz Brew, U2 America, U2America.com. See you in a minute.